Tonight on CTV News at 6. Arrests and charges. Police in Sudbury break up a series of thefts from local liquor stores. The demand is great.
For Northern Ontario and Sudbury, a little more emphasis around the mining-related trades, not surprisingly.
Skills Ontario says there are many opportunities for those with trade skills. And they deal with homelessness and addiction.
We want to collect data from all the 28 heart hubs, including Sault.
An official opening and a look inside a new facility.
CTV News at 6 with Tony Ryma and Rick Wyman with weather.
Good evening. Glad you're with us on this Thursday. A shelter in place last night in Kapuskasing after two people barricaded themselves in a home. Schools in the area were closed today as the advisory continued until shortly after 1 this afternoon. Police were called out yesterday following reports of a robbery and assault. Things escalated when the suspect barricaded themselves in a home. A victim suffered non-life-threatening injuries.
Appreciate the public's patience, and as officers worked on the investigation to resolve it as safely and as quickly as possible. There was some resources that were utilized as a result, including emergency response teams as well as tactical rescue units were engaged.
Officers are still in the area but say there is no longer any threat to the community. Police have arrested a man in Blind River after finding illegal items in his vehicle. Just before 4 this morning, OPP pulled over a vehicle to check the status of the temporary license plates on Longview Avenue. Police could see open alcohol while speaking with the driver and searched the vehicle, finding open alcoholic beverages and what police suspect was crushed up Adderall pills, along with a crack pipe, a scale, dime baggies, a dagger, and bear spray. A 48-year-old faces drug and weapons charges. A 50-year-old snowmobiler from Goodall River has died as a result of injuries incurred late last night in a crash. It happened around 11:15 p.m. in Goodall River. That crash is still under investigation. Greater Sudbury police have arrested 5 people in connection with liquor store robberies across the city. Over the past 2 weeks, the break, enter, and robbery unit arrested 4 adults and a 15-year-old, laying 71 charges against the 5 of them. Police say stolen property is believed to be valued around $30,000. The LCBO robberies happened over the course of several months at various locations. In an emailed statement, the LCBO's chief retail officer says LCBO teams have worked diligently to provide evidence to Greater Sudbury Police with the aim of holding individuals who commit crimes in our stores accountable. We're pleased to share that this is one of more than 1,000 theft-related arrests made in the last 8 months in collaboration with police services across the province. Skills Ontario is predicting that trades are going to be more in demand for next year. Which ones are on the rise? CTV's Madison Merrier has more.
Skills Ontario is looking to see what trades are in demand in an industry looking for skilled workers.
Many of the training delivery agencies and the colleges are partners with Skills Ontario, and of course our industry partners as well give us a pretty good sense of where the demand is.
Clipsham says the top in-demand trades differ across the province depending on location.
For Northern Ontario and Sudbury, a little more emphasis around the mining-related trades, not surprisingly. Things like industrial electricians, millwrights, welders and fabricators, things that support that infrastructure. Heating, ventilation, and air conditioning technicians for sure. Plumbers and pipe fitters. And then heavy equipment operators and iron workers.
There's been more interest in the trades recently. Our domestic enrollment is up and compared to, say, even last year or the year before that. So yes, the interest is definitely showing in our enrollment numbers.
Crane said that more people are taking programs in the trades. With over 140 trades in Ontario, opportunities are widely available.
There's a skills shortage and there's a lot of opportunities, right? We are developing as a country. We are, our community is growing. Construction, every politician is talking about increasing construction. You need tradespeople for that.
Skills Ontario says tariffs are still impacting some trade jobs, but they add when there's a lull in one trade, there's a booming need in others. Madison Merrier, CTV News Sudbury.
Since there is a great demand for so many tradespeople, there is good news on the horizon. Cambridge College is partnering with Skilled Trades Ontario to become a Red Seal examination centre.
We are going to be a site where our apprentices locally can write their exams, so they no longer have to wait or go outside of Sudbury to do this. So we're really trying to support the industry, the community in transitioning our apprentices into journeyman persons.
Crane says the opening of the Red Seal Examination Centre isn't known just yet. An international cryptocurrency scheme, and at the centre of it, a 26-year-old man reportedly from Sudbury. The Securities and Exchange Commission in the U.S. has charged 26-year-old Nathan Govan and 3 entities he controls with fraudulent securities offerings after allegedly misappropriating roughly $6.3 million U.S. of investor funds. Govan was arrested in England yesterday. You can read more on this story by going to our website, CTV News Northern Ontario.ca. It's time for our first check on weather. A little cooler out there. Will that trend hold? Here's CTV's Rick Wyman to tell us more.
Well, it will, especially over the course of the weekend, Tony, but I do have some good news. It'll start to warm up after Sunday. We'll get into that a little bit later on, 7-day forecast. Systems map, we've got some precipitation in the forecast for tomorrow. We'll get to those numbers a little bit later on. Greater Sudbury, Sault Ste. Marie, even Wawa. So again, sorry about that. We've got some cold weather today, some precipitation for tomorrow, flurries and squalls. All the details you need to know, Tony, all coming up. Back to you.
Thanks, Rick. In a leaked memo, still to come on CTV News at 6. In the midst of all the controversy, the head of the Near North District School Board has retired. And the MNR won't say where the hybrid wolf dogs have been transferred.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400. From your screen to ours. Text 10400.
The Near North District School Board confirming today Craig Miles, Director of Education, has retired as of this morning. The information was first released in a leaked memo. The move follows months of controversy surrounding governance reviews and a provincial takeover of the board. Miles was named in the Ministry of Education's damning governance report and found there was a serious lack of leadership from him. The report found he also participated in his own job performance reviews, which saw a huge salary increase. Education Minister Paul Calandra previously stated that he intends to replace Miles with a new interim director of education. A provincial supervisor will be appointed in the new year. 15 hybrid wolves were removed from a property in Wanapate yesterday. The MNR executed a court order to seize the animals after the owner pled guilty to possessing them earlier this year. MNR conservation officers and staff, along with vets, were at the property yesterday where some of the animals were chemically immobilized to be handled safely and secured for transport. In an email statement from the MNR media desk, it says the hybrid wolves will be transferred to one authorized facility. To protect the safety and security of both the facility and the hybrid wolves, the name and location of the approved facility will not be disclosed. An official opening and look inside Sault Ste. Marie's Heart Hub took place today. CTV's Corey Nordstrom has that story.
Dignitaries gathered in a room that typically serves as the Community Resource Center's men's shelter for a formal opening of the Sault's Heart Hub. It included the province's Associate Minister of Mental Health and Addictions, who spoke of the need to break the cycle of addiction in cities like the Sault, now and in the future.
We want to collect data from all the 28 heart hubs, including Sault Ste. Marie, so that we can, 2026, 2027, we are making more informed decisions based on how many people are getting the recovery treatment and what's the age, what are the age groups, and how we can better serve with the right evidence-based information.
The Canadian Mental Health Association oversees the Heart Hub. Its chief executive says the impact of this effort will amount to fewer people struggling on city streets.
Likely what we'll see in success is things that what we're not seeing in our community. So the absence of some of the challenges that we're seeing now will equate to success.
A tour revealed spaces for medical checkups and the hub's floor of transitional housing units. With roughly $6.3 million to each of the province's 28 heart hubs, Mayor Matthew Shoemaker notes the strong need for these funds, saying over 480 people experienced homelessness in the region in 2024, a figure that's changed drastically in the last 8 years.
It's gone up several 100%, and the funding dollars have not followed. Now, this new investment is a 3 times increase to the dollars that are going into mental health and addiction services. That's to keep pace with what the point-in-time numbers were last year. We'll see what they are the next point-in-time count.
Renovations are among a number of moving parts yet to come on this site, where Kay says they will soon offer more services.
Our crisis counseling will come on board very shortly. We're in the midst of interviews for that, recruitment. We've added an additional access and information worker.
Case notes that their timelines are flexible, though she expects that all components of the Heart Hub at the CRC will be operational by April 1st. She says the goal of adding 30 more supportive housing units in the Soo is still a couple years away from completion. Corey Nordstrom, CTV News, Sault Ste. Marie.
Today marked the final day of the fall legislative session at Queen's Park. The House now taking a 3-month hiatus, but opposition parties are arguing they should be back at work sooner. CTV Siobhan Morris reports.
There's no holly, but the halls of Queen's Park are very much decked for the holidays. On this last day of this abbreviated session, the same steady drumbeat that has pounded the last 7 weeks.
The minister hand-picked conservative insiders to receive government funds.
The Labour Minister hammered daily, called on to resign over the Skills Development Fund.
Every dollar goes to training. It's in the guidelines of the publicly accessible funds.
With question period over for the year,
Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah.
The Premier stressed the responsibility MPPs have to the people they represent.
And when we work together, we can do incredible things, even though we disagree.
But politicians won't be all in one place to collaborate for a very, very long time. After only 51 days in the legislature in 2025, the House is on break until March 23rd.
That's crazy. It's not acceptable.
The government House leader begs to differ.
I think it's acceptable when you look at the tremendous amount of legislation that we were able to drive forward.
Clark says they need time to go home and consult with constituents.
We need to look at their priorities, things like keeping costs down, getting people moving, getting these big projects implemented.
Opposition parties see this as a dodge of accountability.
The Premier sees the legislature as a magnifying glass on all of his failures.
Marit Stiles goes a step further.
I think he's a coward, getting out of here as fast as they can and getting as far away from yet another scandal and another police investigation as they can.
There's worry about more fast-tracking bills, skipping consultations, working details out in regulation.
They're silencing your voices. They don't want to give you an opportunity to have input on the legislation that affects your day-to-day lives.
Opposition parties don't think it makes a lot of sense for the Premier to have ordered civil servants back in the office 5 days a week in the new year when he's often missing from question period and the House is on recess until spring. At Queen's Park, Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
The House of Commons also set to break today despite the parliamentary calendar having House members in their seats until Friday. The government is breaking early without having passed their budget bill or recently introduced crime bill. While critics are saying the House should be working tomorrow, the Carney government contends they've done a lot of work in the short time since taking office, citing the major projects bill and the removal of interprovincial trade barriers. The House of Commons returns January 26th. With the first day of winter 10 days away, Environment Canada is releasing its seasonal outlooks across the country. Officials say the effect of La Nina is not expected to be as significant as you move east in Canada. Communities around the Great Lakes could get heavier snow at the start of winter until the lakes freeze over. Environment Canada is monitoring a storm track moving from the Rockies to the Great Lakes, and the Northeast is near the path of that storm track.
They could track across Northeastern Ontario. As we saw earlier, I think a couple of weeks ago, we had a very powerful storm that worked its way through the region, bringing immense snowfall to the area. The track could also continue further, could set up further south, right? So it's not a guarantee that you're going to see more storms.
Environment Canada says Eastern Canada shows equal chances of above, near, or below average precipitation. Back now for a check on the current conditions. Here's Rick.
Tony, I like to look at the weather day by day because things change with Environment Canada forecasts. We'll take a look and see what we've got in store. The Environment Canada crystal ball predicts we've got some flurries and squalls in the forecast for tomorrow. Here's how it's going to look on Saturday, and again by about supper time. Let's go to our current temperatures right now. Wind chill factors into effect. Moosonee -13, some light precipitation. Cochrane -19, Timmins -17, a few clouds. Cap, some precipitation at -16. Few clouds in Chapleau this hour. Wawa -13. But there will be some snow tomorrow in the forecast, 5 to 10 centimeters. Sault Ste. Marie, another area where precipitation will be in effect, about 5 centimeters during the day, another 5 at night, -8 right now. In Parry Sound, -15, a few clouds. North Bay, -20, Temiskaming Shores, -20, and ditto for Kirkland Lake. Sudbury Nickel Belt, -18, -16 in Espanola, -14 in Elliott Lake. And Gore Bay, -13. Your 7-day forecast, Tony, is coming up next.
Thanks so much for that, Rick. New developments next on CTV News at 6. A report on the Canada Revenue Agency on improving service in answering phone calls. And Prince Edward Island is putting U.S. alcohol back on the shelves to help food banks. The Canada Revenue Agency has been getting a lot of complaints from Canadians frustrated over call wait times, delays, not being able to get through to an agent, and misinformation when they do. The agency was given 100 days to fix the problems. CTV's Abigail Beeman reports.
It's very scary when you think that you might lose all your teeth.
Zuli's husband is having a serious dental emergency. She says trying to reach the CRA for help from the Canadian Dental Care Plan has been a nightmare.
It's been quite an ordeal. It's been 2 weeks of tears.
We're very proud of the work that our teams have managed to accomplish.
After a 100-day service improvement plan was mandated by ministers in the face of massive delays, the CRA is proud the number of calls answered went from just 35% to hit its goal of more than 70%.
We will never be in a position to answer 100% of the phone calls that we receive at the agency.
Saying at 30 million calls a year, 300,000 a day in tax time, it's not sustainable.
That is actually a very normal operational kind of balance, so to speak, when it comes to contact center operations that are being operated in a very fiscally responsible and somewhat restrained way.
In the face of government-wide cuts, some CRA employees don't even know if their jobs are safe. A boost to 4,500 call center employees at tax time is temporary.
We're not in a position to tell you right now, whether there are cuts planned and when they might be.
They are investing where we have massive problems.
The union head believes call center staff are safe from cuts for now.
The improvement also stems from the fact that we're at the low season. We're not in a tax season. So we need a lot more help. So it's a positive point, but at the same time, it's a band-aid solution.
It's a step forward. I think one of the issues we had is that we had seen 100 days ago that the level of services was not meeting the expectation of Canadians.
As one example of increased online options to cut down on phone calls, Canadians who are locked out of their account can now get back in digitally, diverting as many as 300,000 calls a year. The union says the real test will be what happens on day 101 after the plan and beyond. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
U.S. President Donald Trump's Gold Card visa program is up and running. The plan allows foreigners to pay to expedite the immigration process.
It's somewhat like a green card, but with big advantages over a green card. And companies are going to be able to go to the Wharton School of Finance, the Stern Business School, Harvard, MIT, wherever you may get your students, any school, and you're able to buy a card and keep that person in the United States.
Under the plan, individuals can pay $1 million to speed up the visa application process. Companies also have the option to pay $2 million to sponsor a foreign worker they want to bring to the country. U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick says the gold card system will ensure the best and most financially capable people are entering the country. He says money raised could help pay down the national debt. Meanwhile, some travelers who plan to visit the U.S. may soon need to provide authorities with their social media posts. The Trump administration is proposing requiring visitors to use the electronic system for travel authorization to reveal their social media history for the past 5 years. The ESTA is an online application for a visa waiver. Providing social media data is optional, but the proposal would make it mandatory. The public can comment on the issue until February 9th. To South America now, where the U.S. has seized a sanctioned oil tanker off the coast of Venezuela.
It has definitely raised the notch higher. It's tightening the noose around Maduro and his options. They're now seizing, economic revenues. Oil is about the only thing Venezuela has as a major export, and by seizing this, it just escalates the situation. And it is definitely a big move in the poker game they're personally playing right now between Maduro and President Trump.
The move yesterday sent oil prices higher and sharply escalated tensions between the two countries. When asked about what would happen with the oil, Trump said, quote, "We keep it, I guess." In response, the Venezuelan government accused the U.S. of blatant theft and described the seizure as an act of international piracy. The U.S. has also carried out several strikes against suspected drug vessels from Venezuela, raising concerns from the country's lawmakers. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is set to hold talks with leaders from around 30 countries today to support Kyiv's efforts for fair terms in a peace agreement with Russia. Leaders from Germany, Britain, and France are expected to participate via video link. Zelensky indicated the talks were quickly arranged amid U.S. President Donald Trump's push for a quick peace settlement. Meanwhile, Ukraine launched a significant drone attack overnight, affecting flights in Moscow and other Russian cities. And there's more news still ahead, but first, here's your full weather forecast with Rick.
Oh, it's full, Tony. It's full. We've got a forecast radar right now calling for some precipitation tomorrow in Sault Ste. Marie, Wawa, Greater Sudbury. We'll get to those numbers momentarily. Here's the system as it moves and approaches the northeast right now by about supper time on Saturday, just in time for that Noelville Santa Claus parade. I'll be there along with, well, the newly appointed mayor of Noelville, Ian Campbell, and of course, Angela Gemmell. We'll have a great time come Saturday evening. It's going to be cold. Let's take a look at the temperatures before I jump over to the 7-day forecast. In Sudbury, minus 14, wind chill minus 20, Sault Ste. Marie minus 7, Timmins minus 11, Kapuskasing Shores minus 10, and North Bay at minus 14. Now, we've got some snow coming to Wawa tomorrow, about 5 to 10 centimeters, minus 13, chance of flurries overnight. Caphurst minus 10, 2 centimeters, 5 centimeters in Moosonee at minus 8, Gore Bay minus 6, and Parry Sound wind chill minus 24 this evening. Now your 7-day forecast. Sudbury, Nickel Belt, some cloud cover tomorrow, minus 8, about 5 centimeters of snow by tomorrow evening. Saturday, chance of flurries. Sunday, sunshine. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, chance of flurries, but it is warming up, minus 8, minus 4, and minus 1 by next Wednesday, your daytime high. Sault Ste. Marie, Algoma, 5 centimeters of snow for tomorrow, another 5 tomorrow evening. Your high minus 2, chance of flurries on Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, but those temperatures warming up from minus 7 Monday to minus 1 on Tuesday, plus 1 by next Wednesday. Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing, chance of flurries just like the Sioux forecast. And take a look at the temperatures. Minus 11 your daytime high Saturday, minus 13 Sunday. Then the warming trend, that low pressure system moving into the northeast. Minus 8, minus 4, and minus 2 the daytime high by next Wednesday. Normally, it's a lot colder at minus 7. Kapuskasing Shores, Kirkland Lake, chance of flurries right through the 7-day forecast. But again, just like Timmins, you'll see the change in temperature and conditions. Minus 13 your daytime high on Sunday. Then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, that warming trend, minus 9, minus 5, all the way to 0 by next Wednesday. A little unusual entering week number 3 of December. So again, getting awfully close in terms of that transition from week 2 to week 3, that warming trend to affect Northeastern Ontario. Some of the overnight temperatures earlier on are pretty cold at -22. North Bay, West Nipissing, here we go. Chance of flurries for a couple of days. Sun and cloud Sunday, -12. Chance of flurries Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. But again, warming up, -6, -4, and a +1. How about that pick of the day for today? Marcel Bilton, pileated woodpecker, of course, from Larder Lake. A lot of those woodpeckers are out. They're hungry, so if you get a chance, please feed the birds. Set up some suet or some seed or do whatever you can. Just make sure that we keep the birds like this one, well, with a full belly. Sudbury Company has donated 300 turkeys to families in need. We'll look at that story coming up on CTV News.
Gift cards are a popular present over the holidays, and the vast majority are given and received without any trouble. But occasionally, you could end up with one that's been tampered with, leaving you with a zero balance. CTV's Pat Foran has details.
Gift cards are an easy way to show your appreciation for a family member or friend, but sometimes criminals are able to tamper with them and drain their balances before you get a chance to use them.
It's very embarrassing.
Very embarrassing.
Peter and Elaine Terry of Toronto bought their good friend a gift card for the LCBO. He received it a month ago, but when he went to use the $100 gift card, it was empty.
He called and said he'd been to the LCBO to use the gift card, and they told him it had a zero balance.
The Terrys purchased the gift card at Shoppers Drug Mart and weren't sure why there was a problem. What followed was almost a month of being bounced back and forth between Shoppers and the LCBO, with neither side offering a refund.
I think Shoppers should reimburse you your money because you paid for it there.
Gift card fraud can take different forms, but generally criminals go to a store, copy the card number and bar activation code, then reseal the package. They may also place fake barcode stickers on the cards. When the card is activated, money that's added goes to the scammer instead of the gift card holder. Always inspect gift card packaging carefully.
You want to avoid getting cards that may have been tampered with, and one way to do that is look for ones that have more secure packaging or are perhaps behind the counter.
When CTV News reached out to Shoppers, its parent company Loblaw said, "Our teams are trained to recognize tampering and other fraudulent situations involving gift cards, doing their best to intercept suspicious transactions before purchase." That said, we understand this is a frustrating experience for customers. Loblaw made it right with the Terrys in record time, giving them back $100 cash.
We got our money back, Pat, after we spoke with you yesterday within 2.5 hours. Thanks to you and CTV. Thank you very, very much.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
American alcohol is back on the shelves of liquor stores in Prince Edward Island today. The province is selling off its stockpile and will donate the earnings. PEI has joined Manitoba, Nova Scotia, and Newfoundland and Labrador in selling off its American booze and giving the proceeds to charity. The island's Liquor Commission says it has 44,000 units of liquor available, worth more than $3 million. Timmins Police Service is launching a new online auction website. The goal is to provide a more user-friendly auction process, as well as improve transparency and increase security. In the past, auctions were hosted on Facebook, where content restrictions and unexpected shutdowns have impacted access. The new platform will be part of the Timmins Police website, and items will start being posted for auction early 2026. A young Canadian embracing the joy of giving this time of year. As CTV's Adam Sawatsky reports, she's spending her own money earned from getting her chores done to brighten up the holidays for other kids.
It's over 2 feet tall. Yeah.
From the moment Prairie Rose Steinman first saw that dollhouse from her favorite TV show,
I want that really badly.
she'd been asking her mom, Kirsten, to buy it for her.
Every birthday and every Christmas, it landed on the list. It was right up there at the top.
But every year, it was just a bit too much for their budget.
You didn't get it?
No.
How does that feel?
It felt sad.
So Prairie tried to be really grateful for what she did have instead.
We know we want something, but we have to focus on the stuff that we already have and need.
But then, that day she and Kirsten were focused on shopping for their other family members, Prairie spotted a Christmas hamper filled with donated toys.
I was like, oh, well, I want to do something like that too.
So Prairie asked her mom if she could spend the money she'd saved from doing her chores to buy not just something special for someone else, but the dollhouse she'd always wanted.
If I gave something that I really wanted, someone would just feel loved. Just like giving a very warm hug to him.
That was super emotional for me. I was just really humbled, actually.
She was so inspired by her daughter's generosity that Kirsten returned a coat she'd bought for herself so she could buy 4 more dollhouses to donate to kids in need.
That's what Christmas is actually about anyway. So yeah, let's go and do it.
So they did. And although that meant Prairie wouldn't get a dollhouse of her own on Christmas, she did finally get one for her birthday.
That was very exciting, yeah.
But it can't compare to preparing to donate another gift this year.
And just sharing the hope and the peace that Christmas is really about.
Because the feeling Prairie says she remembers most in her heart was not the getting, but the giving.
Feels like my heart's having a dance party.
A dance party?
Yeah. And like...
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Saanich.
It's a holiday tradition for community partners at the Rainbow District School Board. CTV's Madison Merrier has that story.
In the Delky-Dozy parking lot, vehicles from the Rainbow District School Board met with Matt's Plumbing to make an exchange of turkeys.
I believe it started in 2019 when Matt from Matt's Plumbing reached out to our school board officials and indicated that he had a number of turkeys that he would like to get out to families so that more families could enjoy a holiday meal.
This year, Matt's Plumbing donated 300 turkeys to students across the city.
It just makes my heart absolutely full, and I know it does with all the guys that work for us. And it's just the right thing to do.
Families come in and just the look on their faces, and it's just you're bringing people together to sit and have a meal.
The holiday tradition has significantly grown since it first began.
We were getting towards Christmas, and I thought it'd be nice to try and do something for our community. So we started out with 50 that year, and then every year after we did 300, and I think last year we did 400.
We reach out to administrators from a variety of schools, and then they give us a number that they think they might need, and this year it worked out really well that we perfectly had 300 turkeys, and everyone's getting what they wanted.
When asked why the school board does this,
to sort of spread the joy of giving at this in this time of the season. So it's a matter of getting families together and trying to make sure that everyone has the means to make that happen.
Stillwell said he is very grateful for the Torini Brothers Meat Market as they sourced 300 Ontario birds, which he then picked up and donated to the Rainbow District School Board, knowing 300 families will have a traditional holiday meal this season. Madison Merrier, CTV News, Sudbury.
And she was Sudbury's ambassador. Still ahead on CTV News at 6. Efforts are underway to honor Jane Goodall and what she meant to the community.
Clothing provided by Laura, Melanie Lynn.
She was known the world over for her work with chimpanzees, and she was well known in Sudbury too. Jane Goodall took a keen interest in the environmental work done by so many to re-green the community. Goodall passed away October 1st, and now the city of Sudbury is looking to honor her. To tell us more about those efforts, let's bring in John Gunn, Professor Emeritus at Laurentian University and environmental researcher. John, nice to see you.
Nice to see you. And yes, indeed, we're not honoring Jane as much as her work and her passion for Sudbury, that Jane loves Sudbury and the example that we brought to the world. And we were such a stark example, that history of pollution and then the massive regreening programs, that she could use that information when she was confronting problems elsewhere. So she came here often to try to add to the story of Sudbury, and we're going to now try to add to it as well.
Since she came to Sudbury, she was a part of the community. You know, there's the brook trout release, you know, the planting of the 10 millionth tree.
With the Prime Minister,
With the Prime Minister. What do you remember about Jane Goodall, and how do you take all of those memories, because you've known her for 25 plus years, and, you know, remember her in this community?
Well, I'm honored that I tell my kids that Brad Pitt wasn't available, so I had to appear in the film with her. So I had 3 days sitting in a film with her on site here in Sudbury, talking life and children and grandchildren and all kinds of things. So I understood her passion, just constant, wanting to make the world a better place and to be a safe place for kids to grow up in. So she was tireless in her work, and she kept coming back to Sudbury because she could pick up important information here that she could use. She was our ambassador. She went out to tell the Sudbury story better than any of us could tell it to audiences that we don't even know exist. So my first encounter was down on Junction Creek, not too far from the Ukrainian Center, in a very devastated time in the creek. And Jane released a big brook trout there to try to inspire the community to clean that creek up. And I think she'd be very proud of what we've done in Junction Creek. There's 6 more species of fish living in the creek now. There's brook trout all through the creek, and thousands of kids have taken part in the annual fish release. She went out to see the tree planting and the regreening, and she told that story all over the world. So she was our ambassador, and she chose Sudbury, and now we're trying to honor her with her message.
John, thanks for coming in. Really appreciate your time.
Yeah.
John Gunn was our guest. And to find out more information about Jane Goodall, don't forget, head to sciencenorth.ca. Well, the mood was festive and lively last night as Sudburians who took part in this year's Santa Claus Parade gathered to celebrate the best of the best. Awards were handed out in various categories. Organizers say this year's turnout was a big success. The theme of the parade was Christmas movies. Businesses, not-for-profits, radio stations, and CTV all decked out their entries to spread holiday cheer.
Everybody's energy was amazing. Like, if you watch the crowd as you drive by, everybody was happy and smiling and screaming and clapping. I was goosebumps the whole time. My face was just constantly smiling.
And congratulations to all the winners. And this was the scene down in French River last night as the municipality held its annual volunteer dinner. Groups like the Lions Club to service clubs were celebrated, in particular those who helped back in April sheltering those stranded by a winter storm on Highway 69. In the Ontario Hockey League, the Sioux Greyhounds were in action last night, and Christopher Brown was on top of his game.
Here comes Christopher Brown with a shot. He scores!
That overtime game winner would be his 3rd point of the night as he assisted on the Hounds' first 2 goals. The Greyhounds put down the Kitchener Rangers 3-2. Tonight, the North Bay Battalion are going fishing for 2 points as they take on the Brampton Steelheads at the Gateway City. Game time is 7 p.m. And in the NOJHL, the Kirkland Lake Gold Miners are in Sudbury this evening to face off against the Cubs. That game starts at 7:10 at the Countryside Arena. A cast of Cape Breton performers sharing their story of a memorable meeting with Nova Scotia's snowbird, Anne Murray. CTV's Ryan McDonald has the details.
When the Christmas in Cape Breton cast performed on Monday night at the Rebecca Cohn Auditorium in Halifax, they looked out into the crowd and saw a familiar face looking back.
The first act we were in, I found out she was in the audience. And I was like, I'm not going to look for her because I know how nervous it would make me be to be singing a tune and look out and see Anne Murray staring back.
Jordan Musician had never met Anne Murray before. He says they were given a heads up that Nova Scotia's snowbird might be in attendance that night, but what he didn't necessarily expect was a lengthy hangout after the show.
She came back with her daughter Dawn and was just the kindest person. She was chatting with us for close to an hour backstage.
When you're in this business for a long, long time, you do meet people. You meet famous people over the years, but we all agreed that this was next level.
Happy holidays. See you there.
Despite being in entertainment for many decades, it was also Bette McDonald's first time meeting Anne Murray in person, and they quickly found something to connect about.
listen, I'll tell you something. Anne Murray has a dynamite sense of humor.
It is Anne Murray season.
Musician adds that it seemed extra special to meet the music legend just before Christmas, and he didn't leave Monday night's meeting without a gift.
I had an Anne Murray Christmas record that, just a classic, and I brought it thinking I'm going to ask her to sign it, and she did.
Ryan McDonald, CTV News, Sydney.
May the force be with your wallet. If you're looking to get Star Wars collectibles, one just sold for a record-breaking amount. Douglas Hyde has that and more in tonight's Hollywood Report.
Remember, the force will be with you, always.
Star Wars is quite a force at the auction block. The original artwork for A New Hope movie poster just sold for a whopping $3.8 million. That's the highest price ever paid for a Star Wars artifact at auction. The sale also shattered the record for the most money ever paid for movie poster art.
Am I sensing some nerves? A little camera shy? Let's do a little warm-up so we're feeling revved up and comfortable for your wedding day.
Talk about pre-wedding jitters. A new teaser trailer is giving us our first look at the drama. Zendaya and Robert Pattinson play a happily engaged couple. Happy, that is, until a surprise revelation throws their wedding week off the rails. The drama arrives in theaters in April. Beyoncé will be back at the Met Gala for the first time in 10 years. Not only will she be attending, she'll also be co-chairing the event with Nicole Kidman, Venus Williams, and Anna Wintour. Mark your calendars, the famed fashion showcase is set for May 4th. In Hollywood, I'm Douglas Hyde.
The Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation has released its annual report and showing considerable increases in national vacancy rate compared to last year.
The vacancy rate was driven by all levels of rent, meaning that not only the more expensive ones drove the vacancy rate up, but also the least expensive ones as well. So affordability slightly improving, but definitely continues to be a challenge.
The deputy chief economist at the CMHC says we're seeing the highest vacancy rates in 30 years as the national rate increased to 3.3% in 2025, up from 2.2% last year. She attributes this increase to new rental and condo units coming online, plus lower immigration targets bringing in less people for several quarters now. Canada exported more goods to the world than it imported in September. That comes as a surprise given the trade war with the U.S. BNN Bloomberg's Marella Fernandez has more.
In September, Canada recorded a trade surplus, the first we've seen since January. It wasn't large, only $153 million, but it was a big reversal from the trade deficit of $6.4 billion in August. Exports in September are up across several categories, including metals. Aluminum exports spiked over 18% that month, but it's still a lower shipment than last September, with the U.S. tariff of 50% on the Canadian metal. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is up to 72.61. West Texas Intermediate crude is down to 57.90. Western Canadian Select is down a bit to 44.49. And the TSX gained another 169 points, so it's another record close for the index again today. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marella Fernandez.
And here are the current prices for some key commodities. We watch gold up $57.55, closing the day at $42.8302 U.S. an ounce. Silver up $1.89 to end the day at $63.57. Copper up 9 cents to $5.36, and nickel down 2 cents, ending the day at $6.56 U.S. a pound. And Rick is back now for one last look at your Friday weather.
Well, we've got some precipitation moving into northeastern Ontario. Let's check out some of those temperatures for tomorrow. In addition to some of the snowfall, Greater Sudbury -7. Chance of flurries, about 5 centimeters of, flurry activity tomorrow evening. Timmins -8, some flurries, 40% chance. Sault Ste. Marie, 5 centimeters of flurry squall activity, another 5 by tomorrow evening as well. Meanwhile, in North Bay, chance flurries -7, Perry Sound, chance of flurries, and the chance of flurries in Temiskaming Shores -7. Don't forget Wawa, 5 to 10 centimeters during the day and another 5 to 10 at night, all due to the flurries and the squalls coming off the water. You know that effect, Tony, especially until that water freezes over. That's the way it's going to be. Back to you.
How true. Thanks, Rick. Finally, we continue with our musical performances from the Telethon on the weekend. This evening, we close out our show with two sisters, Gabriella and Alexa Pulowski. Thanks for watching. Good night.
Rocking around the Christmas tree at the Christmas party hop. Mistletoe hung where you can see every couple tries to stop. Rocking around the Christmas tree, let the Christmas spirit ring. Later we'll have some pumpkin pie and we'll do some caroling. You will get a sentimental feeling when you hear voices singing, let's be jolly, deck the halls with boughs of holly. Rocking around the Christmas tree, have a happy holiday. Everyone dancing merrily in the new old-fashioned way. You will get a sentimental feeling when you hear voices singing, let's be jolly, deck the halls with boughs of holly. Rocking around the Christmas